Today we're talking about apprenticeships. We're going to answer some of your questions and help you to understand more so that if you're thinking about an apprenticeship now or possibly in the future, you know what you need to do. Let's start with some of the basics. As an apprentice, you will be working and learning at the same time. This means you'll be getting paid from day one and you'll have paid time to learn too. You'll typically work for at least 30 hours per week, but most apprentices are full-time, working 37 to 40 hours per week. If you have a health condition, meaning that you can't work full-time, you might be able to work part-time, but this has to be a minimum of 16 hours per week. The learning element of an apprenticeship is really important. You'll get the equivalent of 6 hours per week paid time to undertake your learning. There are lots of different models of how this works. It could be a day a week, a few days a month, upfront in your first year, online, in person, in your workplace, or even out with your training provider like a college or a university. You will have a contract of employment with your employer. This will set out all of the expectations of you as an employee, but also what you can expect from your employer. You will be entitled to holiday pay and potentially other benefits that the company offers too. And it's really important to remember you will be doing a real job with real responsibilities. This isn't work experience. Your employer will expect you to turn up and make an effort to develop in your role. As an apprentice, you won't have any fees to pay. In fact, you'll be getting paid to learn. You might even be able to relocate as an apprentice. Some employers will offer support to help you find accommodation, and some employers even pay a bonus up front to help with these costs. But it's important to remember that apprenticeships are not the easy option. Working and learning takes commitment and effort. Remember though, your employer and your training provider will be there to help and support you all the way. Apprenticeships can be for everyone, regardless of your background. It doesn't matter what level you're at. Your employer and training provider will make sure that you're on the right level for the role that you're doing. Apprenticeships also support a great social life. As an apprentice, you'll be expected to turn up for work on time and ready to do your job, but you'll get to meet lots of other apprentices. And because you're employed and earning a salary, you'll be able to do all of those fun things too, just mostly at the weekends. It can help to think of an apprenticeship like a triangle. There will be you, the apprentice, there will be the employer, and you'll also have the support of your training provider. The range of apprenticeships that you can do is absolutely incredible. Lots of people will have heard of apprenticeships in trades like carpentry and hairdressing, and there are thousands of brilliant opportunities in these roles each year. But did you know, over the last decade, the government has been working to increase the range of apprenticeships at all levels, meaning that we now have around 700 different apprenticeships. So for everything from accountant to zookeeper, there could be an apprenticeship for you. The levels of apprenticeship go all the way from level 2, which is called intermediate level, through to level 7, which is equivalent to a master's level. The level that you'll start on depends on the role that the employer has, not necessarily on your previous grades or qualifications. Degree apprenticeships are a great option for you to consider too. However, it's important to remember that you won't always start at this level, and it might be more typical for someone leaving sixth form or college to start off as an advanced apprentice and then work your way up. There are thousands of employers that offer apprenticeships all across England. Some of the logos showing here are some really big names that you might recognise. But also there will be loads of smaller companies that you might not have heard of who also have brilliant apprenticeship programmes. It's important that you do your research and you try to find out about the local employers who are offering apprenticeships. Your school or college will also be able to help you with this. So, how do you find an apprenticeship? Well, apprenticeships are real jobs and the process isn't like applying to college or university. Apprenticeships will be advertised in different places, and so it's important that you know where to look and when. A great place to start is the government website Find an Apprenticeship. This website has more than 20,000 live jobs with employers across the country. If you know of a particular employer that you want to work for, you could visit their website and search under careers. You can also look on jobs websites. You can contact local colleges, training providers and universities. Social media is a great way to look for apprenticeships, and many companies will use Instagram, TikTok, X and LinkedIn to promote their vacancies. And don't forget your friends and family. If you want to find an apprenticeship, make sure that you tell everyone that you know so that they can help you to search too. They may work somewhere that they know they're recruiting, or they may hear someone mention it to them as well. It's useful to remember some key things when you're looking at apprenticeships, because it can all feel a bit confusing when you first start looking. The employer will decide when and where they advertise. Vacancies aren't all advertised at the same time, and they won't all have the deadlines or the same entry requirements. Some employers will advertise as early as 1 year ahead of when they want their apprentices to start, whereas other employers might advertise a bit later in the year. And with the deadlines, it's really important to remember that the employer may choose to close the listing early if they get loads of applications. So if you see a job that you're interested in, get your application in as soon as you can. The employer will also decide whether or not to set any entry requirements. So you may see some vacancies that ask for things like English and Maths GCSE or UCAS points, whilst other employers won't ask for this. The employer will decide on the recruitment process as well. So again, different employers will do it in different ways. Some employers will have fairly complicated processes with lots of stages, like submitting an application form, participating in a video interview, psychometric testing, assessment centres, another interview, whilst others may just ask for a CV or an application form. And finally, remember that the employer will decide on the terms and conditions. Salaries and benefits will vary between different employers, and this is why you'll see some vacancies with quite high salaries and other apprenticeships where the salary is a bit lower. It's a good idea to start doing your research and looking at some of the different vacancies and what the employers are offering. So, what's next? When we say start your research, there are different ways to do this. Take a look at some of the different apprenticeship roles out there and see if there's something you would be interested in. Then you can do a bit more specific research, find out which employers or sectors might offer those roles and if they're likely to ask for any entry requirements. Then you can start looking at vacancies to see which employers are recruiting now and if any are saying that they'll be recruiting in the future. And get ready to apply so that when you see a vacancy that you like the look of, you're ready to go. Many of the applications will ask similar questions, so get a good CV together and ask your school or college to help you to put some pre-written answers to typical questions together. Then you can tweak them for the different applications that you might be submitting. There is no limit to the number of apprenticeships that you can apply for, so keep an open mind and look at everything. Look at the different levels, read about the job, even if you've never heard of that job title before. And remember to consider employers of all sizes. For more information and guidance on apprenticeships, visit our website and access our free resources, amazingapprenticeships.com.